Okay, let's dive in. It really wasn't that long ago that, a new software update felt like a major event.
Right. Once a year, maybe?
Exactly. But in AI right now, it's like
Yeah.
you blink and you've missed 10 massive breakthroughs.
It's completely nuts. That quote someone had about the community just coughing and a dozen new ways to build AI appear.
Yeah, I saw that. And honestly, looking at everything from just this past week, around May 11th, it feels pretty accurate.
It really does. The sheer speed, the variety,
Yeah.
it's genuinely astonishing.
What's really hitting me is how fast research is turning into actual tools, like tools you can actually use.
Yeah, that lag time
Oh, yeah.
between the paper and the product, it feels like it's just collapsing.
Totally collapsing. And that's exactly what we want to unpack today. You've pulled together this amazing collection of firsthand observations just from that one week.
Yeah, tried to capture the key moments.
So our mission basically is to cut through all that noise, figure out what really matters from this whirlwind, and maybe find some surprising connections.
Absolutely. It's not about listing everything, more about spotting the big trends, understanding the potential impact.
Okay, so this tidal wave of AI news, where do we even start? It felt like generative AI really took some big leaps.
That sounds like a good place to begin. What jumped out at you there?
Well, Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro preview, it just felt different somehow.
How so?
The idea that it could generate a whole functional game, an isometric driving game no less, with clouds, a train, gyro steering.
Right, from a single prompt.
Yeah. One prompt, no back and forth asking for more details, and apparently no just making stuff up,
Yeah.
No hallucination.
That's genuinely impressive. Getting functional code reliably is a huge hurdle.
And the fact that the code it spat out in AI Studio was apparently cleaner than the consumer version, that's kind of an interesting detail.
Yeah, that suggests they're tailoring the output.
Yeah.
AI studios for developers, right? So cleaner, more practical code makes sense.
Plus, they're offering free access, grants for students, which is always good to see.
Definitely. That reliability for complex tasks like error-free code generation is a major step forward. What do you think that means for, software development?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You wonder, does it change the job? Maybe developers spend less time on the grunt work of coding.
Could be. Maybe more focus on the big picture, architecture, innovation, that kind of thing.
Yeah, solving the harder problems instead of just writing boilerplate code.
Exactly. Shifting the focus.
And it wasn't just code generation. Notebook LM seemed to get a serious language boost.
Oh, yeah. Timelines, FAQs.
Yeah, and audio summaries. Across tons of languages. That example of turning Alan Turing's paper into a Spanish podcast.
Wow.
I mean, that's just wild. And that trick someone used, reviewing conference slides by having Notebook LM basically give them a German immersion lesson.
Huh. That's pretty clever. Very practical.
It really shows how these tools could, break down language barriers,
Yeah.
get information out there.
For sure. Think about education or global teams working together. Instantly translating and summarizing complex stuff.
Huge.
Then there was Claude 3 getting hooked up to the live web.
Right, finally. Accessing real-time info.
Being able to pull live SEC filings or GitHub commits to build a market map or something, that moves it beyond just a static model. It becomes a real, research assistant.
That's a crucial step. Access to up-to-the-minute data completely changes what these models can do, analyzing current trends, giving insights based on now.
Although those rate limits during U.S. business hours, kind of a reality check, huh?
Yeah, it reminds you there's some serious computing power needed under the hood. Managing resources is key.
And speaking of dynamic stuff, HeyGen Avatar 4. The lip sync is supposedly, hyper-realistic now.
Oh, I saw that, the chief meme officer example.
Yeah, an onboarding video in Japanese made in 10 minutes. The potential for multilingual video content, especially making things like branded explainers way cheaper. It's massive. Oh, absolutely. Think about global marketing or educational videos. It could just explode, making it so much easier and cheaper.
What does that do to, the voiceover industry, though? Or actors?
That's a really good question. It definitely raises some big questions about those roles in the future.
And then, okay, Suno 4.5. Generating complete songs.
Just a title.
Yeah. Lyrics, music, even the cover art. The example was, my dad's on TikTok and I can't escape the cringe.
Huh. Brilliant.
It just feels, transformative. And then combining that with HeyGen for instant music videos, someone called it illegally fast.
I can see why. It really pushes the boundaries. Think about musicians just starting out or even just trying out ideas quickly.
Total democratization of music creation almost.
In a way, yeah. Significant.
Firebase Studio also jumped in, right? With Gemini 2.5 integration.
That's a big one for developers.
Building and deploying a working app like that Lavender SEO quiz with the login gate just by describing it in natural language.
And then managing it with natural language, too.
That feels like it could seriously lower the barrier to making apps.
Absolutely. People without traditional coding skills could suddenly build things. And even for pros, it could speed up prototyping like crazy.
And for anyone dealing with audio, Nvidia's transcription model sounds insane. 1 second.
Yeah, transcribing a 20-minute podcast in 7 seconds.
With 94% accuracy, punctuation, speaker labels.
That's a huge time saver. If you do webinars, podcasts, any audio content, that's a massive workflow boost.
Addresses a real pain point.
For sure. Speed and accuracy like that are game-changing.
Even Netflix is playing with generative search now.
Oh, yeah. How's that working?
Apparently, you can ask for stuff like, find me something cozy, about 25 minutes long, but no laugh track.
Huh. Searching by vibe.
Exactly. And it gives you back results as, like, TikTok-style vertical clips.
Yeah.
It's a shift away from just genre tags towards, latent vibe ranking, they called it.
Interesting. More intuitive discovery, maybe. Instead of guessing keywords, you describe the feeling.
Could totally change how we find stuff to watch.
Yeah, much more personalized.
And for visual creators, the Gemini 2.0 image API, that drag-and-drop compositing with natural language sounds wild.
The example was combining elements from different photos, right?
Yeah, like grab a lamp from this photo, a desk from that one, add a wolf howling at the moon, just by typing it out.
Wow. That's getting close to having, like, an AI assistant built right into your photo editor.
Pretty much, and incredible control.
Opens up so many creative possibilities,
Uh-huh.
faster iteration, new ideas.
Even code review is getting an AI boost. OpenAI's GitHub thing.
Right, ChatGPT, deep research, crawling the repo.
Annotating changes, and you can give it feedback, thumbs up, down to fine-tune it, using it to push for shorter, more concise code reviews. That's clever.
Yeah, can make reviews more consistent, maybe faster, free up developer time, potentially catch issues earlier.
That feedback loop seems key, right? So it learns what good looks like for your team.
Exactly. Continuous improvement.
And lastly, just for fun, Higgs field effects mix. Creating animated loops from still images.
Yeah, those soul jump and thunder god effects sounded cool.
Turning your soul avatar into a fiery being with a quick prompt tweak seems perfect for making eye-catching stuff for social media.
Totally. Showcases the fun, accessible side of generative AI. Easy, shareable visual content.
Okay, whew. That's a lot on the generative front. But it wasn't just about making new stuff, right? There are moves in, like, the enterprise space, developer tools themselves.
Absolutely. That reported OpenAI acquisition of Windsurf for, what, $3 billion?
Yeah, $3 billion. And Windsurf has apparently become this whole enterprise dev OS.
It really highlights that IDEs, integrated development environments, are still super important. Even with all this AI focus, you still need tools to build things.
Puts that dozen new IDEs quote in perspective, doesn't it?
It does. And then there's that rumor, Apple and Anthropic.
Project Vibe Coder.
Integrating Xcode with Claude for context-aware UI development from natural language. Yeah, if that's real, and they can pull off the tech, that could be a massive shift for building iOS apps, describing the UI you want instead of coding every pixel.
Huge implications. Assuming it works well, of course.
Always the big assumption.
Now, with all these models popping up, GPT this, Claude that, it gets confusing. Which one do you actually use?
Tell me about it.
OpenAI's cheat sheet was actually pretty helpful explaining the different GPT models.
Yeah, 4.0, 4.5, Mini 3.5.
Their advice, if you're not sure, just default to GPT 4.0. Seems like solid, practical advice.
That transparency is really valuable. Helps you make an informed choice instead of just guessing. Pick the right tool for the job.
And speaking of choices, Mr. AI, that budget model claiming near GPT 4.0 performance.
But with way lower token costs.
Yeah. That could be huge for making powerful NLP affordable. Processing huge amounts of text suddenly becomes much cheaper.
Can you quickly explain token costs for folks who might not know?
Oh, sure. Good point. Think of tokens as, like, pieces of words that the AI processes. So fewer tokens or cheaper tokens means it costs less money to feed the AI text or get text back from it.
Right, so lower token costs make powerful AI much more accessible, economically speaking.
Exactly. Opens it up. And Europe's got a strong contender too, right? Mistral Medium 3?
Yeah, positioned against GPT-4, apparently doing better than Claude Sonnet 3.7, but cheaper.
Plus, it can run on regular gaming GPUs, and you can run it on premise.
That's a big deal for flexibility and data privacy. and their LeChat Enterprise thing, a no-code way to build AI agents.
Seems like they're really focusing on accessibility and enterprise needs. Good to see strong competition.
Definitely. A diverse AI landscape is healthier for everyone. Different approaches, more options.
It's not just digital bits and bytes, though, is it? AI is making serious moves in the physical world. Robotics.
Oh, absolutely. Some really fascinating stuff happening there. Amazon's Vulcan robot.
The one with a sense of touch.
Yeah. Handling delicate things like eggs right next to heavy stuff like kettlebells. That kind of nuanced manipulation is key for logistics.
Adapting on the fly. And that collaboration, Persona AI and HD Hyundai Robotics, building welding robots.
Aiming for 2027. Using advanced reasoning. NASA haptic tech.
And the idea is humans supervised from a safe distance.
Exactly. Improving safety and efficiency in dangerous jobs, like shipbuilding. Tackling labor shortages in tough environments.
While keeping human expertise in the loop. Interesting balance.
Yeah, it's not always about full replacement.
Then UC Berkeley's video mimic, teaching robots by showing them YouTube videos. That just sounds like science fiction.
It's pretty wild. Extracting 3D poses, running simulations, reinforcement learning.
Which is basically rewarding the robot when it gets things right.
Kinda, yeah. Trial and error, guided by the video examples, and then deploying those learned skills onto actual humanoid robots.
Making them climb stairs, sit down.
Yeah.
Tasks they learn just by watching.
It's a huge shift from programming every single tiny movement. Robots learning skills much more naturally, potentially much faster.
And Meta open sourcing all that robotics tech.
Yeah, PLM for space-time understanding,
Right.
Locate 3D for language-based object handling, the collaborative reasoner for multi-agent training.
Making that stuff public, that could really speed things up across the whole field, couldn't it?
For sure. Lets everyone build on their work, fosters collaboration, accelerates innovation.
Even that Unitree G1 bipedal robot got a major brain boost.
Suddenly playing catch and balancing, taking voice commands.
Yeah, that's a big jump in capability for a consumer-level robot. Makes them seem much more versatile, potentially useful in, homes or workplaces.
Definitely shows how fast the intelligence side is moving, even for more accessible hardware.
And UC San Diego's AMO and Twist Suite taking shaky human demos.
Even if you recorded it with basic motion capture in your garage.
Yeah, and turning that into smooth, precise robot movements. That makes teaching robots new tricks potentially much easier for regular people.
That focus on intuitive teaching is critical. Makes robots more adaptable without needing an army of programmers for every new task.
Man, this is all moving so fast. It's not just the tech, it's how we think about it, its place in society.
Absolutely right. The societal ripples are getting bigger and more obvious.
Like the face age model. Predicting biological age from a selfie. Super accurate, apparently.
The potential applications are interesting. Oncology, longevity research.
But it also makes you think, right, how is that information used? What are the ethics? Unforeseen consequences.
Totally. As these predictive tools get better, we need those ongoing conversations about responsible use and safeguards.
And then Pope Leo IV talking about algorithmic dignity.
Yeah, at his first press briefing, calling algorithms a decisive frontier of human dignity.
When the Vatican weighs in like that, it really shows AI isn't just a tech issue anymore, it's a global moral one.
And mentioning future talks on worker rights in an automated economy. Very relevant.
Underscores the deep impact AI is having. Needs ethical guardrails.
Wow.
On a more technical note, that UCL model identifying neuron types from brain activity.
From raw spike data
Yeah.
with high accuracy.
A huge potential for brain-computer interfaces, right? Imagine BCIs adapting stimulation based on understanding which neurons are firing.
Could be massive for treating neurological disorders. And
well-
just understanding the brain better.
And the Google AI diagnosing rashes, outperforming dermatologists across different skin types.
That's a potential game changer for healthcare access. Teledermatology, getting diagnoses to remote areas, handling diverse skin tones better.
Shows AI's potential to improve equity in healthcare, maybe?
That seems like a key application area, making expertise more accessible.
And finally, OpenAI going back to being a public benefit core structure.
Yeah, lots of different takes on what that actually means. Balancing the mission with the commercial side.
It really reflects that ongoing debate, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Profit versus, the greater good in AI development.
It's a core tension in the field right now.
Wow. Okay. That is a lot to take in. Reading back your closing thoughts here. Models costing pennies, robots learning from YouTube, world leaders debating algorithm ethics.
It's dizzying.
That line, the center no longer holds because there is no center. Everything is simultaneously beta, production, and obsolete. That really nails the feeling, doesn't it?
It really does capture the current moment. Relentless change. Kind of disorienting.
Yeah, it's easy to feel totally overwhelmed. But the suggestion here, just pick one tool, try it, experiment, share what you find. That feels like the only sane way to deal with it.
Get your hands dirty. That seems like the best way to build a stable perspective.
Active engagement, right. A
Yeah.
willingness to just play around with this stuff.
Exactly. Form your own view.
So for you listening, maybe one of these things we talked about sparks something. Gemini 2.5, Suno, the robots, go check it out.
Play with it. See what it can do. Think about what it means.
And hey, if you do, let us know what you find out. We'd love to hear.
Ultimately, yeah, the tech is moving at lightning speed, but keeping that human perspective, exploring the opportunities and the challenges. That's what's crucial.
Couldn't agree more. The algorithms are learning, but so are we. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Until next time.